Ski mountaineering requires more equipment than most other forms of mountaineering. In addition to ski equipment, touring skis, touring bindings, ski crampons, climbing skins, ski poles, ski touring boots, you also need emergency avalanche equipment, namely a shovel, probe, and avalanche transceiver, and additional equipment as desired, avalanche backpack, helmet, and then of course something for orientation, first aid kit, bivy bags, cell phone, headlamp, something to eat and drink. But above all, you also need clothing that is just as appropriate for sweat-inducing ascents as steep, deep snow descents and bad weather such as wind and precipitation. When it comes to touring skis, we differentiate between ascent skis and free-ride skis. The ascent-oriented skis are more lightweight, often narrower, and often shorter, while free-ride skis are significantly wider and heavier. Therefore, they are more suitable for varying types of snow, for high speeds and deep snow, while the lightweight, ascent-oriented skis naturally mean that you save a great deal of weight on long ascents. Similarly, when it comes to touring, there is a huge range of different bindings, depending on whether they're for ascents, so very lightweight bindings, or for free riding, so sturdy bindings that naturally also have a higher DIN for the release. Lightweight tour bindings are actually always Pintec bindings, where you clamp the shoe into the pins at the front here, and the whole shoe can then be moved, but can also be locked into place with the heel unit for descents. Nowadays, it is common to have ski brakes, so you don't have to use leashes. So ski brakes are actually state-of-the-art. And of course, that you also have heel lifters to make things more comfortable on steeper ascents. One special feature of touring bindings is that you can always mount ski crampons on every kind of touring binding. These provide a secure hold for difficult ascents in order to prevent a fall. There are also free-ride bindings that have a whole base plate and heel unit like the ones used in alpine bindings and that are significantly heavier. But of course, they also offer greater security and stability on descents at high speeds above all. Ski tour skins are especially important pieces of equipment. They are affixed to the nose and tail of the ski, and they also stick to the running surface. They prevent you from slipping backward as you ascend. This is of course a balancing act, because on the one hand, we don't want too much sliding resistance, so we can save energy when going forward. On the other hand, they should provide enough grip to prevent us sliding back downhill when ascending. These climbing skins are made using either mohair or a synthetic material. Mohair skins are made using the natural product sourced from Angora goats and have better sliding properties, while synthetic skins are more durable and thus last longer. There are also climbing skins that combine both fibers or both types of skins. It is particularly unpleasant when the skins get wet if you then go out into the cold snow, powder snow for example, and it freezes onto the climbing skins. This means that the wet skins get an ice crust on them, which makes it enormously difficult to walk with them. If you develop buildup like this, it needs to be scratched off, either with your other ski, using the edge to scrape from top to bottom, and then, if possible, re-prepare the skins, which means waxing them with a block of hard wax, or, in a pinch, only in case of an emergency, with sunscreen. Then, try to avoid icing up your skins. When it comes to ski touring boots, we differentiate, in a similar way to the skis, between hard, heavy, descent-oriented free-ride boots that provide significantly more stability and grip and are often taller and have more buckles, and the significantly lighter, ascent-oriented boots or even race boots. What both types of ski touring boots have in common is that they have a ski walk mechanism that can be used to lock the shell for the descent or make it more flexible so you have enough movement in the ankles for ascents. When buying ski touring boots, the most important thing is that they fit well. So here we look at the width, but also the overall shape of the boot. Here you should really take enough time to try them on, because a ski touring boot that doesn't fit is really torture when you have to ascend over 1,000 vertical meters while wearing it. It is also typical for all boots to have an inner shoe that can be removed. This is often adjusted in the boot store. This means it is shaped to fit your foot and therefore also provide much better support in the shell. Nowadays on all models, you'll have these pin inserts for these lightweight Pintec bindings that we looked at earlier. But you can also use into a conventional alpine binding with a heel unit and toe cup at the front. One typical characteristic that differentiates this from a piste boot is that touring boots always have treads on the rubber soles for ascending on foot. This way you don't slip as easily, for example on hard snow, but you also have enough grip on rock. This rubber sole is, for example, completely unsuited for conventional alpine bindings. If you source your equipment from a specialist store, you can expect to get good advice, meaning you will also walk away with high-quality equipment. But it's not enough to just carry the equipment with you. You also have to know how to use it. We therefore recommend not only taking optimal equipment with you, but also acquiring skills and practicing the whole thing in courses.